Hi, I'm Dr. Perry Cammisa, National Medical Advisor for PowerPlate North America. I just want to give you a brief introduction to this amazing piece of technology called the PowerPlate, also termed in the categories, also termed as whole body vibration. So the secret behind whole body vibration, or PowerPlate, PowerPlate's a premium brand for whole body vibration, is that it creates a vibration, and people can feel the vibration when they stand on it. But when you look at someone doing an exercise on the plate, it doesn't look like there's anything moving. There's no moving parts. It's not like a treadmill. It's not like a piece of weight equipment that you can see weights moving. The secret behind how this works is that the vibration stimulates our body. Our body responds to the stimulation with a reflex. And through various exercises, what takes place is that reflex causes the nervous system to fire the muscle tissue at the frequency that we set on the plate. So for example, if we have it set at 40 hertz, that's a fancy way for saying that the plate's vibrating at 40 times a second. That means the reflex is taking place at 40 times a second, which in essence means that the muscle is contracting at 40 times a second, or 1,200 contractions in 30 seconds. The second key thing that happens is that when we're doing an exercise on the PowerPlate, we're contracting 95% of the muscles involved in that contraction, versus if we're traditional exercise, whether it's in physical therapy or whatever it may be, exercise ball wobble, you may be anywhere from 25 to 35% contraction rate. The third thing, and probably one of the most critical things that whole body vibration and PowerPlate does, is that the muscles that attach to the spine, these are the ones that get injured in a low back injury. And through the reflex that takes place, the reflex, a fancy word for saying what happens here to those muscles is reflex inhibition. Fancy word for saying the muscle's been shut off due to injury. And what the plate does, what PowerPlate does in whole body vibration, it stimulates via the reflex to turn and strengthen these muscles, to strengthen really from the spine outwards in the multifidi muscle that helps support the spine. One of the questions I get asked all the time is, what can I do at the gym that's equivalent to the PowerPlate? Well, the first answer to that is nothing. You're not doing anything at the gym with traditional equipment that creates a reflex. So there's nothing you can possibly do of the three things I mentioned, with how fast the muscle contracts at 40 times a second, firing 95% of the muscle tissue, and then turning back on and triggering these muscles that have been injured over years. None of that takes place at the gym. The best way I can give you an analogy is think of a shotgun. You have to cock the gun and pull the trigger one time versus a machine gun. The machine gun would be equivalent to the PowerPlate. The shotgun would be equivalent to what happens at the gym. When an injury occurs, whether it was 2 weeks ago or 20 years ago, the body compensates. So as people get stronger, they improve the strength of their compensation. I like to call this raw horsepower and speed. So we see this in athletes where they're extremely strong, they're very fast, they can run through a brick wall. But unfortunately, that is completely different than spinal stability. And what we like to do with our protocols is identify the weaknesses. And the more deconditioned they are, the easier it is to see these weaknesses. Versus when we have a professional athlete come in, athletes are very strong, so it takes a little bit more of a skilled eye to actually identify the weaknesses. But that's where the bonus comes in, is using the technology of whole body vibration and PowerPlate on these weaknesses in athletes, especially high-level athletes, where they can see and have measured changes. That's where the real bonus comes in, from understanding the protocols that take place and how to apply them to the spine for spinal balance and stability.